So one of the things, if you're considering to come into digital marketing, is it's not too late. In fact, it won't be too late for the next 20 years. The goal is for you not to focus on too many things. Now, the biggest mistake people make who are just coming in is they will focus on a topic they know very little about, let's say digital marketing, and then they have to be marketing the digital marketing. That's a mistake. You want to come into what you know about. What is your expertise? If you're a chiropractor, you don't want to work as a chiropractor before or anymore, then focus on that. Let's say you're an insurance salesperson, you don't want to work in insurance sales anymore, then focus on that topic, right? Whatever you have some expertise in, focus on that, because digital marketing is tough enough as it is. So focus on that, and the fastest, easiest, most reliable way to get exposure is through appointment-based marketing. That's a live virtual event, video especially. You can do teleseminars, they're not dead, or physical events, which are more expensive, local events. And if you do it that way, people will give you their time. If they give you their time, the money will follow. So don't focus on two new things, new topic, new marketing. Focus on existing topic you know about, and then learn the marketing and digital marketing through this movie and other sources. When I was 8 years old, and I'm living in Pasadena, California, and I have a relative coming in, we're going to take them to Disneyland. This is 1972. I've made 58 trips around the sun at the time of this recording. I would anticipate going to Disneyland, and it would be so exciting. All the dopamine is getting released. Just like in a text, depending if you have an Android or a mobile phone, you see those three little dots, or how Facebook is almost a drug dealer of dopamine, like the anticipation is the thing. The question, can anyone become a digital marketer? Yes. What do you need? Common sense and a knowledge base about a specific topic. The anticipation of learning and being a lifelong learner and emptying your cup, which is a Chinese proverb of go in high intention, low attachment. Anyone can do it as long as you are willing to learn from the right sources, like people in this movie or video, however you're watching it. And then the goal is to participate and engage and enroll yourself to do it. When I finally got to Disneyland, back then the fastest ride was called the Matterhorn, right? This is going many years back. I hated standing in line for an hour. Hated it. So I loved anticipating going to Disneyland. I hated waiting in line. So the participation wasn't as fun as the anticipation. So my advice to anyone new coming in is focus on the anticipation of continuing to learn and follow one or two sources. Don't be a bright, shiny object chaser, BSO syndrome, where you keep going from expert to expert to expert, because you won't learn much that way. So I have no idea if you're watching this, if you're starting from scratch, or you have YouTube videos, Facebook ads, or nothing. Let's say you're just talking to someone, you want to send them somewhere. Well, that initial touch is important, and you've won someone's time. Well, somehow you made an appointment with them, and they agreed to spend 5 minutes with you, 10 minutes with you. The next job that you have is to spend an hour with you, 2 hours with you. If they're willing to spend 5, they'll spend 10. If they're interested and have a desire to spend 10, they'll spend an hour. An hour can take you to 3 hours. That's called appointment-based marketing. And as you win more time, more money will follow. Because what you're doing is you're winning their heart, and then their head follows, right? Sell with emotion, justify with logic. Winning time means that they are committed to you and not someone else. Winning money naturally comes if they want to continue education with you, and that is what appointment-based marketing is. You can call it a webinar, you can call it a workshop, or you can call it a teleseminar. But really, it's an appointment that they've made with you, and it's very valuable because they're giving you their most precious asset, their time. The concept of appointment-based marketing is they're making an appointment and they're actually showing up. It could be a discovery session or a strategy session between two people. It could be one-to-many or one-to-one. The goal is don't chase their money if you're just starting out, because they won't give it to you. First, you win their time, and if you gain an hour of their time, then they're more likely to give you their money if they're still on. So let's say I have a list, an online list of appointment-based marketing candidates or prospects. They've spent an hour with me. That list is a lot more valuable to me than another list that's downloaded a checklist or a mind map, or let's say an assessment report of findings. So 1 hour versus 10 minutes, the 1 hour always wins. If I have a list of 500 people that have given me 1 hour of their time, they know, like, and trust me, they understand and believe me a lot more than the ones who have just downloaded what we call a lead magnet or an ethical bribe. So appointment-based marketing is not replay, it's live interaction where you get feedback, you get to dialogue, and you get to learn who your ideal client or prospect is. So with appointment-based marketing, maybe the most important question is, how do I sell? That's not the most important question. The most important question is, what do I do before they come on my experience, whether it's a teleseminar, workshop, or a physical event? And we call that the engagement process. Now, let's say it's a webinar. The first thing we do, whether you're starting from scratch or not, whether you're a beginner or a veteran, is we put people into a Telegram group, not a Facebook group, but a Telegram group, where there are not extra links out there. We name the group, we brand it, and we start having people engage inside the group before the thing even begins. So if we have an event in 3 days, we want them into a group where people are interacting with each other. Those people don't become prospects, they become members. Members know each other. Think of American Express, right? You have the green card, you have the gold card, you have the platinum card, you have the black card, and each one costs more money just for the privilege of charging, right? So they call them members, whereas Visa and MasterCard, they call them customers. So we like to create a membership where before the appointment-based event, which is a webinar in this case, then they get to meet each other, so when the time they come in, they're a lot warmer. And that engagement, we can start pre-training them to make the sale. We call it seeding and trial closing, so that in 2 hours we can get more done than it would have been possible in 5 hours because of all the stuff that happened beforehand. That engagement gets them to enroll faster. So when people talk about targeting, whether it's in digital marketing or it's an online world, people don't realize that it's not where you look that matters, whether it's a Facebook or Google ad or LinkedIn ad or whatever ad. What matters is your message. Now, I have a friend of mine who used to be a student, now he's my mentor, his name is Perry, and at one time he sold the most candle wicks on anyone online. And that's because he was selling 100 at a time. At least that's the story I got. Now, if you're selling to candle makers 100 wicks at a time, that's not a hobbyist. That's a wholesaler, right? So if your messaging is discounts for 100 candle wicks at a time, that's going to attract wholesalers. If you're selling onesies and twosies, that's going to attract the hobbyist. So your messaging will make all the difference. Let's say, for example, how to triple your chiropractic business and spending less chair time. Is that to a chiropractic patient or is that to a chiropractor? Well, the correct answer is to a chiropractor, right? And so as a result, that's a business-to-business ad because of the messaging. It's not business to consumer. How to reduce lower back pain and get rid of your neck pain at the same time? That is a business to consumer marketing communication. So your message is going to determine the market that's attracted to you. And that's where most people in digital marketing go wrong. They try to look for the people and they try to have their own idea of where to find them. It's not. The congregations will find you based on your messaging. So the single most important thing you can do when you're starting out in digital marketing, or if you're a veteran, most people forget about, is identify your competitors, right? Now, good marketers plagiarize, and they steal from one source. Great marketers steal and do research from many different sources. I believe there's no new types of messaging. Messaging has been the same, it's repositioned itself, right? So if I want to go up against Zoom, then I'm going to go at them not by trying to win more users, because they have over 300 million users. If I want to go up against Zoom, I'm going to go up against them by saying, hey, we have high definition video and audio, great for podcasters, and you have sharper picture and clearer sound. And that's it. Okay? What did Apple do in 1984 against the whole PC market? Well, they ran a commercial for 60 seconds. It was during the Super Bowl. You can look it up on Google, and it changed everything. Apple was sexier. It was simpler, whereas the PC market, back then Microsoft, was the enemy. That was like the state, right? And so what we did is, with Apple, the slogan was think different. And so it was about being that renegade. And so if you look at that and the differences between the PC market and Apple back in 1984, then you'll see what Apple is today. They almost went broke. They were 2 months away from going bankrupt. But what Steve Jobs did while he was still living, he went from 107 or 8, over 100 products to less than 10. And by simplifying it, he made it do what it's supposed to do. Dropbox has a very specific purpose. WhatsApp, purchased by Facebook, very specific purpose. Uber, very specific purpose. So the simpler it is, the more of your people you're going to attract. I have a client who used to do MMA, mixed martial arts, videos for men who were 5'5" and shorter. He was doing $100,000 a month, okay? Why? Because those guys were interested, right? The badass 5'5" and lower people, right? That's a great niche. So the riches are in the niches when you look at digital marketing, and that messaging is key.